Hi, I'm Patrick Reagan. Welcome to Networking Part 3 Network Cabling. During this video, we will focus on the cabling that is used in networking, including copper and fiber cables and their related connectors. As always, stick around for the practice questions at the end to test your knowledge and help you prepare for the A+ exam. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to click the like button. If you have not already, subscribe to the Pat Has Your Back channel for more tech training content and technical know-how. Cabling provides the connection infrastructure for the network. When implementing a cabling infrastructure, make sure you plan it well. Don't forget to plan for growth, including connections and usage. Wired networks can be divided into copper and fiber optics cabling. Copper uses electrical signals. Copper cable has very limited bandwidth and a higher signal loss over 100 meters in high frequencies. It has relatively low distance. It is susceptible to eavesdropping and is susceptible to environmental factors including temperature fluctuations, severe weather conditions, and moisture. It's also inexpensive. Fiber optics uses light signals. Fiber cable provides more bandwidth and has little signal loss during transmission. It offers greater distances. It's not susceptible to eavesdropping and is immune to environmental factors including temperature fluctuations, severe weather conditions, and moisture. It is expensive. Copper cabling uses twisted pair or coaxial cable. Twisted pair is a pair of wires that forms a circuit that can transmit data. The pairs are twisted together to provide protection against crosstalk, the noise generated by adjacent pairs. Types of twisted pair include unshielded twisted pair or UDP and shielded twisted pair or STP. It's used commonly in RJ45 Ethernet cables to physically plug your computer or docking station that connects to a wall jack, which leads to a switch, or directly to a switch. Coaxial cable is a round cable conductor and 3 layers of insulation and shielding, which reduces crosstalk from motors, lighting, and other sources of electromagnetic interference, or EMI. Designed to transmit high-frequency signals. With a shield construction, the coaxial cable can support longer cable lengths between 2 devices. It's used with cable television and satellite connections. Unshielded twisted pair is the most common twisted pair cabling, which is used by Ethernet. It has no additional shielding. Shielded twisted pair has additional shielding that protects against signal interference. Shields each pair and/or the overall cable. It contains shielding in the form of aluminum foil, aluminum braid, or both. It requires the cable to be grounded on both ends. Grounded at one end means that the other end acts similar to an antenna at some frequencies. Shielding also adds strength, but cable is thicker, weighs more, and has reduced permitted bend radii. It costs more per foot compared to UDP. It requires more expensive shielding connecting hardware in order to work as intended. And it contains a dedicated electrostatic discharge drain wire to help drain off static electricity buildup in the cable. Foil unshielded twisted pair has foil shielding to reduce EMI, but does not have the individual shielding around each twisted pair. Twisted pair cables divided into categories based mainly on bandwidth, which is measured in megahertz, maximum data rate, which is measured in megabits per second, and shielding. Today, the most common categories include Cat5e, Cat6, and Cat6a. Here's a table of the common categories. Notice that there's also a 5e and 6a. The E stands for enhanced, and the A stands for augmented. Common Ethernet standards used today include 1 gigabits per second Ethernet 1000 base T, which is the most common for general use. 10 gigabits per second, or 10G base T, or fiber variants is growing in business and data centers. 40G and 100G Ethernet are becoming standard for high-speed data centers. Direct burial wire is a type of outdoor electrical wire that is buried underground, usually without conduit. It provides protection from the elements. Direct burial cables are approved for use in wet, dry, and moist conditions. It is often filled with gel to repel water. Some direct burial cables are enhanced with armor that protects them from rodents. Direct burial STP is used because it protects against signal interference and the shielding adds strength. POTS stands for Plain Old Telephone Service, sometimes also referred to as PSTN or Public Switch Telephone Network. It is the traditional landline analog phone system. Register to Jack 11 or RJ11 is a legacy telephone interface that uses a cable of twisted pair wires and a modular jack with 2, 4, or 6 contacts. Standard phones use 2 pair or 4 wires. RJ11 uses a 6P style modular connector, 6 positions, meaning that the plastic plug has room for 6 contacts. However, only 2 6P2C or 4 6P4C of those positions usually have metal contacts and wires installed. It actually has 2 or 4 contacts or wires, 2 or 4 depending on the application. Standard home telephone cord always has 2 wires, 6P2C, while business dual-line phones often use 4 wires, 6P4C. RJ11 is the common connector for plugging a telephone into the wall and the handset into the telephone. This is not to be used with voice over IP or VoIP, which uses a network connection such as Ethernet. Today, Ethernet uses an RJ45 connector, also known as the 8-position 8-contact 8P8C. It has 4 pairs or 8 wires. It is the most common local area network connection. T568A and T568B are the wiring standards that define the pinout or connection order for the terminating twisted pair network cabling and 8-pin modular connector plugs and jacks. The only difference between T568A and T568B is that the orange and green wires are interchanged. T568 has been largely superseded by a more up-to-date T568B. T568B has become overall the most widely chosen wire schematic. Whichever is chosen, be consistent. Straight through cable, Ethernet patch cable allows connection from network devices to switch. The straight through cable has both ends are 568A or both ends are 568B. The computer, printers, and some routers use medium dependent interface or MDI port, while the switch and hubs use a medium dependent interface crossover or MDIX port. These cables are designed for connecting devices that use different wiring standards for transmitting and receiving data, such as a computer that transmits on pins 1 and 2 to a switch, or to a router with receives on pins 3 and 6. It's the most common type of Ethernet cable and is typically used to connect different types of devices, such as computer to switch, router to modem, or switch to router. A crossover cable allows connection from network device to network device or switch to switch. The crossover cable has one end using 568A connection and the other end uses 568B. Crossover cables are used for connecting 2 similar devices such as 2 computers directly or 2 switches directly. While patch cable's appearance is very similar to a crossover cable, patch cables are often confused with crossover cables. However, patch cables are used to connect different types of devices. Note, Auto MDI-MDIX is a feature in network devices that automatically detects the type of cable's connection straight through a crossover needed and configures the port accordingly, eliminating the need for manual cable selection or crossover cables. Unfortunately, you may not always count on this functionality. Patch panels are a combination of punchdown blocks and RJ45 connectors. It usually runs from the office wall jack to a server room or wire closet patch panel. You connect computer or VoIP phones to wall jack. The wall jack leads to the back of the patch panel as shown on the bottom picture. You connect a patch panel to the front of the patch panel to a network switch. The switch is connected to the rest of your network, including servers and the internet. 66 blocks were used for most legacy telephone connections in the United States that carry analog voice. The 110 blocks are used to connect sets of wires in a structured cabling system, which is used to terminate twisted paired cables with a punchdown tool. The 110 blocks are smaller and provide a broader frequency bandwidth. The 110 block can be tedious since every wire must be individually punched. If you have 100 jacks, you'll have to do 800 punches. The bottom figure shows the final 8 wires punched and clipped. A patch cable is a short, flexible cable used to connect devices like computers, routers, and switches for signal routing, often within a network infrastructure. Coaxial cable is a round copper conductor and 3 layers of insulation and shielding, which reduces crosstalk from motors, lighting, and other sources of EMI. RG59 is an older coaxial cable that is still used in specific applications such as analog video signals, closed-circuit television systems, and some cable TV installations. The RJ6 cables have a higher quality shielding and thicker insulation than their counterparts that can endure outdoor conditions and more interference. RG6 is the most common and is often the go-to for most home and commercial applications due to its balance of flexibility, low signal loss, and performance. Typical distances are 1,000 feet, or 305 meters, to 1,500 feet, or 457 meters. It can carry frequencies up to 2,200 megahertz. RJ11 is a thicker coaxial cable used for longer distance applications, such as connecting satellite dishes to receivers over longer distances. Coaxial cables use the following types of connectors. A bayonet Neo Councilman, or BNC connector, is a more versatile RF connector, often used in professional applications like video and test equipment. BNC connectors offer a quicker, more secure connection with a bayonet locking mechanism that is resistant to accidental disconnection. F-type connector is primarily used for connecting coaxial cables to televisions and cable boxes, making it more commonly found in consumer electronics like cable TV setups. F-type connectors use a threaded design for connection. Fiber optics cables consist of one or more optic cables that are used to transmit data. Fiber optic cables transmit data as pulses of light go through tiny tubes of glass or plastic. Infrared technology is fundamentally used in fiber optics as the light transmitted through optical fibers is primarily in the infrared spectrum, allowing for efficient, long-distance data transmission with minimum signal loss. This is because infrared light experiences lower attenuation with the fiber compared to visible light. The transmission capacity of optical fiber cable is 26,000 times higher than that of twisted pair cable. The fiber tubes are very thin and can break and crack relatively easy. The bend radius of fiber optic cable is a critical parameter that specifies the minimum radius one can bend a cable without causing damage or significant performance loss. The cable should not have any bend radius smaller than 10 times the cable diameter. The core is the central part of the fiber where light travels. The cladding surrounds the core and has a slightly lower refractive index, causing light to be reflected back into the core through total internal reflection. Core and cladding size are measured in microns or micrometers. Common sizes include common core and cladding sizes for a multimode fiber, which is 50/125 micrometers or 62.5/125 micrometers. Common core and cladding sizes for single mode fiber is between 8/125 and 10/125 micrometers. The first number represents the core diameter and the second the cladding diameter. Single mode fiber, or SMF, has a small core and only allows one mode of light to propagate at a time through a single direct light path. It's used in long-range communications up to 100 kilometers without processing, and it offers speeds up to 100 gigabits per second. Its expensive light sources such as laser. Common core and cladding sizes are between 8/125 and 10/125 microns. Yellow cables are usually SMF. Multimode fiber, or MMF, cable comes with a larger core and designed to carry multiple light rays or modes at the same time. It uses multiple paths of light, often bouncing off the cladding. It offers short-range communications up to 2 kilometers, and its relatively inexpensive light source such as LED. Common core and cladding sizes are 50/125 micrometers and 62/125 micrometers. It offers speeds up to 10 gigabits per second. Orange and aqua cables are usually MMF. You will find different fiber optic connectors, including the following. Straight tip, or ST, is one of the first standard fiber optic connectors using a spring-loaded, half-turn bayonet-style lock that makes it quick and easy to attach and detach. The Scriber connector, or SC, sometimes referred to as the standard connector, has a push-pull mechanism to latch them in place. Lucent connector, or LC, is a small form factor, which is half the size of an SC or ST connector, which is ideal for heavily populated patch panels and cabinets. It's more difficult to remove after connected. LC connector extraction tool is available to help a little. The MTRJ is common in home installation and only works with multimode optical fiber. Should note, today, LC is the most common connector found. There are connectors which have dual or duplex connections and others with single or simplex connections. When choosing cable types, you have to select connector type, simplex versus duplex, and if it's single mode or multi-mode. The plenums are responsible for moving heated and cold air through the house or building. If you lay cable in the plenum, the cable must be plenum cable that does not release toxic fumes if burned. If fumes are released into plenum space, they can spread throughout the building through the air circulation system. Traditional cable jackets have polyvinyl chloride, or PVC, which releases hydrochloric acid and dioxin, which are both toxic. Plenum cable is a fire-rated cable made of Teflon or fluorinated ethylene polymer, or FEP. Plenum-rated cables may not be as flexible and may not have the same bend radius as normal cable. Question: why is twisted pair cable twisted? Answer: to reduce crosstalk. Question: you're investigating a problem where users frequently disconnected from the internet. Determine that the problem is caused by electromagnetic interference, or EMI. Which of the following is immune to EMI? Answer: multimode fiber. Question: you're investigating a problem where users frequently disconnected from the internet. You determine that the problem is caused by electromagnetic interference. Which of the following should you use that will keep costs down? Answer: shielded Cat 6. Question: you're installing a cable modem in a Soho. Which of the following would you most likely connect to the cable modem? Answer: coaxial. Question: what type of cable uses the F-type connectors? Answer: coaxial. Question: which of the following copper wire standards utilizes 4 pairs to achieve gigabit Ethernet speeds? Answer: 1000 base T. Question: your business ISP is the local cable company. What type of cable is from the demarcation point to the central office? Answer: RG6. Question: which of the following connector types will most likely be used to connect to an external antenna? Answer: B and C. Question: what is the default and most common maximum recommended network cable segment length that enables twisted pair cabling to achieve maximum speeds, defining Ethernet standards for what specific cabling type without the need for any device that would prevent signal attenuation? Answer: 100 meters. Question: which of the following refers to a twisted pair cabling type design and recommended as a minimum requirement for gigabit Ethernet? Answer: Cat5e. Question: you're running cable through the ceiling, which is part of the air conditioning return system. What type of cable should you use? Answer: Plenum-Cat6. Question: which of the following cable types will most likely be used to provide high-speed network connectivity between nearby buildings? Answer: fiber. Question: which of the following fiber connector types is most likely to be used on a network interface card? Answer: LC. For more information, refer to these sites. In summary, cabling provides the connection infrastructure for the network. Copper wiring uses electrical signals, is susceptible to eavesdropping, and is inexpensive. Fiber optics cabling uses light signals, has more bandwidth and distance compared to copper wiring, immune to EMI, and is expensive. Twisted pair cabling has pairs that are twisted together to provide protection against crosstalk, the noise generated by adjacent pairs. Network cables are divided into categories based mainly on bandwidth, which is measured in megahertz, maximum data rate, which is measured in megabits per second, and shielding. Today, Ethernet uses an RJ45 connector, which has 4 pairs and 8 wires. Coaxial cable has round copper conductor and 3 layers of insulation and shielding, which reduces crosstalk from motors, lighting, and other sources of EMI. Coaxial cable uses BNC or F-type connectors. Single mode optical fiber, or SMF, has a small core and only allows one mode of light to propagate at a time through a single direct light path, while multimode fiber, or MMF, cables comes with a larger core and designed to carry multiple light rays or modes at the same time. The plenums are responsible for moving heated and cooled air through the house or building. The lay cable in the plenum the cable must be plenum cable that does not release toxic fumes if burned. Thank you for watching this video. The next video will be networking part 4, network tools. If you like this video, click the like button. And if you have not already, subscribe to the Pat Has Your Back channel. Thank you.